As you know, my brother Daniel was murdered with an AR-15, which is one of the most commonly used weapons in mass shootings. You have talked a lot about wanting to ban weapons of war. How, and most importantly, when do you plan on achieving that?
Here's the deal. There's two things I think would happen in your school. One was that was the mom who had all those weapons, his mother, and he had access to them. Right now, folks, if we were we're not at the White House, we were at a restaurant, and I left the keys in my automobile, and some underage kid came out, stole the automobile, was driving to kill someone, I'd be liable. I'd be civilly liable because I was irresponsible leaving the keys in the car. I think anyone who owns weapons, any weapon, should have to lock them up. If they're legal weapons, lock them up. These assault weapons are just that. They're made for one reason, to kill people. So what we did was, this time around, we finally, in first time in 30 years, got gun legislation passed. And the House of Representatives, at my encouragement of their own, passed the assault weapons ban. But the Republicans in the Senate blocked it. We only have 50 votes. We have to get every single Democrat. And we were not able to get it done. But I promise you that this next term, this next 2 years, I'm going to do everything in my power.
It did not address a limit on high-capacity magazines, or it took a small step for background checks. So what pathway has your administration identified that will close that gap so that we are more protected from individuals that want to use guns to harm us?
I'm not being facetious when I say this. People voting, showing up to vote. For example, my legislation says there can be no more than 8 bullets in a round, okay? What these guys do in these mass killings, they have magazines, they call them, as I know you know, that can hold up to 100 bullets in it. 100 bullets. That's where people just like having an automatic weapon, which is we're not allowed to have, by the way, supposedly. And so it limits the size of the magazines. It limits the ability of any weapon, including pistols. And it limits the use of the sale of an assault weapon, period, across the board. So it does both.